Coming to paperback and e-readers, John Haynes' Godbreaker. The man who rules the world takes on the Asgardian god of thunder in this action-packed, all-new John Haynes series adventure. Pre-order your copy of John Haynes' Godbreaker at online booksellers today. Hi everyone, it's Shawn here with a comic review video. And I have to say 2023 is shaping up to be a good year for indie comics because I just put in my pledge for Josh Howard's T-Bird and Throttle versus the Ape Men, and if it's as good as T-Bird and Throttle versus the Moon Men mini-series, we're going to have a really good year for comics. Now I've been waiting patiently for the 4th and 5th issue of Damsel from Distress, and it finally came this year, and we're kicking off the year with one of the best comics of 2023. This 4th and 5th issue of Damsel from Distress wrap up the first story arc for Damsel from Distress, and I have to say that these 4th and 5th issue do a great job of creating a satisfying conclusion and leaving us open for more stories in the future. Now, this 4th issue leads us to learn more about Beck and her father after she's been in a fight and then eventually is recovering from some injuries. And as she's recovering from these injuries that she has sustained in the fight in the 3rd issue, we get to meet Beck's father. And as she meets her father, we learn more about their relationship, and we learn that she really loves her father. And we also learn about the story as related to his disappearance and the princess he was going to save. So we learn a lot in this book that moves the story forward, and the writer Andrew Clemson does a fantastic job with this series, and the art by Mauricio Mora is just absolutely fantastic and really pops. And I have to say everything here is just an absolutely fun issue. And this is the kind of book that really reminds me of what Disney should be doing, because as I was sitting there reading Damsel from Distress, which really does a great job of satirizing the Disney princesses and also does a great job of really making fun of everything as related to these princess stories, in this story that's basically Disney princesses that meet the man from U.N.C.L.E., I was sitting there saying, hey, this is the kind of program that Disney needs to be producing right now. And I could easily see Damsel from Distress easily being a Disney series with the fun and fantastic storytelling, the rich and multidimensional characters, and the action and adventure that really takes you back to some of the best Disney series like Disney's Gargoyles and many of the other great programs that used to be a part of the Disney afternoon. And what I liked about this 4th issue is that it further delves into the mystery of Beck's mother's past and her father's past, and does a great job of showing us what this quest was all about, and shows us why these characters are on the road on this journey. So I really liked a lot of things in this 4th issue because it reminded me, again, of the things that I enjoyed about watching Disney afternoon cartoons, and it also reminded me a lot of some of the fun anime series that I used to watch back when I was a teenager and a young adult. I used to watch a series called Dragon Warrior, and it used to come on, I think, about 6, 7 a.m., and it was a fun anime series. And this series reminded me a little bit of Dragon Warrior or Dragon Hunter or something, whatever it was called. But it really reminded me of that. And it also reminded me of Disney's Gargoyles. So a lot of great animated series here. And I could easily, again, see the Damsel from Distress being a animated series. And I could easily see it being something that kids would easily get into. Because, again, the character designs here are fun. The characters here are just, again, very interesting. And, again, I don't want to give away too much of the plot because we learn a lot about Beck and her father and how she came into this world in the 4th issue. And then everything comes together for a satisfying conclusion in the 5th issue. And again, I really love the art here, especially on this 5th issue cover, because it really pops. And everything that your social justice types are trying to do with strong heroines Andrew Clemson and his team do with Damsel from Distress with Beck. She's a strong heroine who has great strength of character. She's a lighthearted, fun character that you could easily relate to. And again, I could easily see this character being in an animated series, and I could easily see this being something that kids would go out here and watch and binge on Netflix or Amazon these days. But I miss the days of, again, Disney syndication, because Damsel from Distress would be a show that would be all of the rage with all of the kids in school. And this 5th issue, wow, this is just one absolutely fun issue that builds into a very satisfying conclusion. And again, I don't want to give away too much as related to this story, but everything here really is absolutely fun. Again, I understand how hard the creators on this book work, so I don't really want to give away too much of either issue 4 or 5, but I will just say that everything comes to a fantastic conclusion, and this comic does what a great comic does. It gives us endings and beginnings, and as one storyline ends, we have things getting ready to open up for a new storyline, and I definitely want to be there when the next storyline starts, and I want to be there to pick up the next issue from Damsel from Distress, because this concept is great. It shows us how this damsel was never in distress, and how even though she's strong enough to get herself out of a jam, she's just someone who can work with other people. And that's something that many of the social justice comics lack as related to heroines. They make them so-called strong, but sadly they don't have the strength of character that Beck has to deal with her issues as related to her father and her past, and also go out here and continue to be a great hero who works at the side of all of the other heroines, and even Dave, the swashbuckling prince who doesn't really measure up. And I like how they use Dave as a running gag, just exceptionally well done as related to that, and how he's basically a whipping boy, but he's not really the big-time hero that he thinks that he is. Again, they use him for comic relief, but they use him very well in contrast to the father. So there's a lot of balance here as related to characters and character development, and everything in this comic is exceptionally well executed, and that's why I can easily recommend you go out here and pick up the entire Damsel from Distress run from issue 1 through 5. I got all 5 issues in digital, and I wish I had gone out here and bought all 5 issues in paper, because this book is so exceptionally well done, you'll possibly be reading it until the cover comes off. That's how good this comic is, and how well done the characters are. And if we had really good media out here, they would be offering Andrew Clemson and his team a Disney deal and allowing them to go develop this concept, because I would eagerly go out here and watch a Damsel from Distress animated movie. I think it would do very well at the box office. The storytelling here is so great, and it's something that kids, I think, would really enjoy. So this is a comic that, again, is all ages. It's one I can highly recommend for readers of all ages, and I think you'll have a fun time watching this Damsel from Distress get herself out of a jam. Now, one of my other favorite comics, Josh Howard's T-Bird and Throttle, is having an Indiegogo, and if you want to pick up a copy of Josh Howard's T-Bird and Throttle versus the Ape Men, you can pick up your copy by clicking a link in the description box and putting in your pledge and helping Josh get that awesome comic funded. And I want to see, again, more indie comic creators get their work funded and get their work out there. This is why I do these comic videos, and this is why I need your support. So if you guys could donate to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App, that helps me get the funds to continue buying great comics like Damsel from Distress. And if you want to pick up my first digital comic, E-Steam No Good Deed, which I did with Bill Walko, you can pick up that comic on Amazon's Kindle for 99 cents by clicking the link to Amazon.com. Now, right now, I'm still trying to find a way to get my second comic, John Haynes at Death's Door, to readers who weren't a part of the Kickstarter, and I'm trying to find a way to get that out on print on demand. So be out on the lookout for the John Haynes at Death's Door comic. Hopefully I'll find a way to get it to the marketplace, but it's something I'm working on right now. But until then, you can pick up all the other fantasy fiction on the SJS Direct imprint, like the ISIS series, the E-Steam series, the John Haynes series, and the books of the Spinsterella trilogy, and other novels I've done like The Thetas and Eternal Night. You can find all those books on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format, and you can also find them in other online digital and print booksellers like Smashwords, the iBookstore, Barnes & Noble, and Google Play. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Josh Howard has the next chapter in the T-Bird and Throttle saga, T-Bird and Throttle versus the Ape Men, available on Indiegogo. This is the sequel to the critically acclaimed miniseries T-Bird and Throttle, and as I was looking at the preview art on the Indiegogo page, I was absolutely floored at how fantastic it is, and the story looks absolutely compelling. And I don't want any of my viewers to miss out on the next installment in the T-Bird and Throttle saga, so I'm asking everybody to go out here and put in a pledge and help get the next chapter in this awesome comic saga funded. So you can get your copy of T-Bird and Throttle versus the Ape Men by heading over to Indiegogo by clicking the link in the description box and putting in your pledge to get your issue of this comic, whether it be the standard cover or one of the fantastic blackout cover variants Josh has designed, and in addition to possibly stretch goal rewards and other great perks that are going to be a part of this fantastic campaign. Now available in paperback, John Haynes at Death's Door. The man who rules the world takes on the Greek god of death in this action-packed John Haynes series adventure. Pick up your copy of John Haynes at Death's Door at Amazon.com and other online booksellers everywhere.